This is Unit 1.3. In this unit, it asks us to solve simultaneous equations by using graph. Let's start with question 1. Question 1 asks us if this order pair at the front is a solution for two equations behind. Now let's start with A. The one in front is x and one in the back is y. So substituting it, this will be 6 and minus 2 equals 4. And negative 2 minus 3 equals negative 5. So this is a yes. And now let's go for B. X is 1, 4, then it's 5. 2x plus 2y, so 2 plus 8, it should be 10, but it's 8, so it's no. And C. And when x is 1, it will be 3 minus 5, and that equals negative 2. And when x is 1, it will be 2 minus 4, and they'll also equal negative 2, so it's yes. And finally, it's D. X minus 5 equals 5, so this is correct. And 5x is 10, so it's 50 minus 40, and that should go 10, but it's 5, so it's no. And I'll finish question 1 like this. This is question 2. This question asks us to find out the point of intersection of two graphs and verify the answer by substituting those x and y's in those two equations. Let's start with question A. The point of intersection of this one is at negative 4, comma negative 2. So let's start with first equation. 3 multiplied by negative 4 plus negative 3. This equals negative 14. And then this is negative 4 equals 2 multiplied by negative 2, and this is also correct. Now let's go for B. In case of B, the point of intersection is 6, comma 5, like this. And let's start with the first one. So 6 plus 6, 3 multiplied by 5, and that definitely is 21. 6 minus 5, that equals 1. And finally, it's C. So the point of intersection is 5, comma negative 4, like this. Let's start with the first one. 5 plus negative 4, and that equals 1. So this is correct. And for this one, 2 multiplied by 5 minus 5 multiplied by negative 4. And this will be negative 20. So there's negative in front down with positive 20. So that equals 30. This is question 3. In this question, we need to draw the graph and find the point of intersection of two graphs. So first, let's change to y equals 4. Y equals negative x plus 5. And then, I'll find the x-intercept and y-intercept. And x-intercept is when the y is 0, then x equals 5, so it's 5. And y-intercept is just a constant right here, so it's positive 5. And let's try the second one. 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. Dividing both sides by 4, y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 3. This time, let's use the slope and the y-intercept. The slope is negative 3 over 4. It's gonna head to the right down. And y-intercept equals positive 3. Like this. And now let's draw the picture. Right here, both of them are 5, 5, and 5. And let's connect these 2 points to make the graph of equation 1. Let's start with that, now let's do the second one. The y-intercept is 3 right here, and the slope was negative 3/4. So the 3 is rise and 4 is run. When the x moves by 4, the y moves by 3. X moves by 4, y moves by 3, so right here. And let's connect these 2 points. And when we look at the point of intersection, it's just a bit over 8, but let's say it's 8 comma minus 3. And this time, we will use the graphic calculator to draw and find the point of intersection. Here's the calculator. Clicking the menu, and then we'll go to graph. Right, and then press exe. So y equals negative x plus 5, but there's already y. Let's just write minus x plus 5. Exe, and the second graph, negative 3/4 x plus 3. And then exe again. Now let's try. Then press G-solve, which is F5. Let's click this intersect right here. And then it shows us that x is 8 and y is -3. Like this, we can find out that the point of intersection is 8, -3. Alex needs to rent a minivan for a week to take his band for a tour. Easy Vans charges $230 plus $0.1 per kilometer. And the company called Cars for All Seasons charges $150 plus $0.22 per kilometer. And then we should first draw the graph for these companies. Let's start with Easy Vans. I'll write it as A, and let's write then 230 plus 0.1x. Right here, this x right here, this is the kilometers, and equals y, don't forget it. And the B, the Cars for All Season charges 150 as a base, and 0.22x, again x is the kilometers, equals y. And right here, this y means cost. And then, now let's draw the graph. But because it's just numbers too big, instead of drawing with x, y intercept, I'll draw a slope and y-intercept. Right here, this y-intercept is 230, so it will be about here. And then the slope is 0.1. So the slope is 0.1, and that's same with 1/10. Instead of writing 1/10, let's write it 290 over 200. It will be just way easier to draw the graph. So then, moving 204x from the point, so about here, and 20 to one block off, like this. And then, if we connect these 2 points straight, it'll be just like this. This is graph for A Easy Vans. Now let's try B. The B is 0.22, so it'll be 100 under 22, that will be 500 under 110. So let's draw the graph. The y-intercept is 150, so it will be just about here, like this, and plus 500, so jumping 5 big blocks, and it will be here. And just 5.5 blocks up until here, and connecting this will be the 2 graphs. Right here, the point right here, the point of intersection, it looks like it's just about 670, 680, comma, maybe 300, let's say. Instead of now drawing graph with our hands, let's use calculator. Again, got the calculator out right here. Let's try it out. 0.1x plus 230. And the second one for B, 0.22x plus 150. And then, going for the draw, we can't see this because just the graph is just too big. Let's just zoom out. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and we can start seeing it. Zooming out one more time, we can see it. And then let's go to G-solve and find out the intersection. The x is 666.666, it just keep goes there. Then it will be 666.7. And the y-intercept right here, it's 296.7. I'll write again because it's repeating 6. And then, in this graph, it means that in case of B, it's way cheaper to start, but if you write more than 666.7 kilometers, it will be more expensive compared to A. So we should say to Alex that if you are writing less than 666, you should choose B, and if you write more than that, you should choose A. This is question 5. In this question, we should just draw the graph for those 2 equations, find out the point of intersection. Let's start with A. Change to y equals form, and y equals negative x plus 3, and also y goes where 7 goes over, y equals x minus 7. And let's find out those slopes. The slope for the first one is negative 1, and for the second one is 1, right down, right up. And now let's draw the graph. So the first equation, y-intercept is 3, right here, and moving 5 to the right, and 5 to the under. Then this will be the graph of the first equation. Just connect these 2. And then now let's draw the second one. Y-intercept is 7, and moves 5 to the right, 5 to the top, right here. And connecting these 2 points, this will be the graph of question A. And the point of intersection is 5, -2. And now let's go for P. Again, change it to y equals 4, then y equals -x plus 8. Right here, 2y equals 4x minus 8. Dividing both sides by coefficient of y, then it will be y equals 2x minus 4. Now again, let's just try. When to top first, positive 8 right here, and -1, 5 to the right, and 5 to the under. Connecting these two again, this will be the graph for the first one, and now it's the second one. The y-intercept is -4, so it's right here, and the slope is 2, so it moves 2 to the top while moving 1 to the right. So its same is 5, 10, 5, 10 right here, and connecting these 2 points. This will be the graph for the second one, and then the point of intersection is 4, 4. And now let's go for C right here. Change to y equals form, only the second one, y equals -3x plus 6. And let's draw the graph. -4, so it's right here, and again, the slope is 2. Slope, it means 10 over 5. Move to the 5 and move to 10. And then connecting these 2 points, this will be the graph for the first one. And now it's the second one. This time the slope is -3. So the y-intercept is right here, and the slope is -3. So then it's 4 under 12. Then 4 to right, and 12 to down. So right here, like this. And connecting these 2 points with a straight line, this will be the graph for the second one. And you can see the point of intersection right here. It's 0, 0. And now it's C. So change to y equals 4, y equals -2x plus 10. And second one is already changed. Now let's try. Positive 10 is the slope, intercept, and the slope is -2. So then it's 10 over 5. So it also has to write down. And then 5 and 10 right here. And connecting these 2 points, this is graph for the first one. Y equals x minus 2 to the second one. Intercept is -2 right here. And right here it's like the slope. And connecting these 2 points, this will be the graph for the second one. So then the point of intersection is 4, 2. And this is E. Let's try it out. So -5 right here. And then 3 to the right, and 9 to the top, straight up like this, and then connecting these 2 points. Now it's the second one. The slope is negative, so it has to write down. Y-intercept right here, -2. So when moving 5 to the x, 10 for the y, like this. And connecting these 2 points, this will be the graph for the second one. Right here, the point of intersection is 2, 1. And then here's the final one. It looks just a bit complicated, but we should just write it out. And then 5y equals 6x minus 12. Dividing both sides with 5, y equals 6 over 5x minus 12, and over 5. And 5y equals 2x minus 2, y equals 2 over 5x minus 2 over 5. And it's just a bit complicated to draw it, but let's just try it. So the y-intercept is -12 over 5, so it'll be just about here. And the slope is 6 over 5. So 5 to the x and 6 to the y, 5, 6, right here. Connecting 2, this will be the graph for the first one. And now then it's the second one. So -2 over 5 right here. And 2 to like this. And it's just a bit hard to find out, so just checking out the solution is 2.5, 0.6. For this question, you can just write the calculator or just use other things to solve it. It's just a bit confusing to write down this fraction in the graph. This is question 6. Austin is creating a new trail mix by combining two of his best-selling blends. One is pineapple coconut macadamia mix that sells for $18 per kilogram, and one is a banana papaya peanut mix that sells for $10 per kilogram. And then he's making 80 kilograms of new mix and will sell it for $12.5 per kilogram. So we should solve this question by just looking at the graph. First, we should write down the linear equations and relations of the graph. And then, let's just write it out. Right here, first one is about amount. I'll put the first mix is in x and second mix is in y. Then x plus y equals 80. And the second equation is about the cost. So the first one is 18, so 18x plus 10y, and that equals, so because he's selling 12.5 per kilogram, that will be 18 multiplied by 12.5. I forgot the zero right here. And then we just wrote down the equation. And then we should look at the graph and estimate how much will Austin use for his mix. So for in case of x, when we look at it, I guess it will be about 25 kilograms. And y, it will be about maybe 55 kilograms. And like this, we can also solve the question with just by using graph. This is question 7. At Jessica's Java, a new blended coffee is featured each week. This week, Jessica is creating a low-caffeine espresso blend from Brazilian and Ethiopian beans. She wants to make 200 kilograms of this blend and sell it for $15 per kilogram. Brazilian beans sell for $12 per kilogram, and Ethiopian beans sell $17 per kilogram. How many kilograms of each kind of bean must Jessica use to make kilograms of her new blend of the week? So first, we'll put Brazilian coffee as Brazil beans, and X, Ethiopian coffee, EB, and this is Y. So first one is about the amount. X plus Y equals 200. And then this is about the cost. X, the Brazilian was 12, so it will be 12x, and Ethiopian was 17. 12x plus 17y, and this equals, so 200 multiplied by, she's selling $15 per kilogram, so 15. And then if we calculate this, so it'll be 3,000. And instead of drawing the graph this time, it's just a bit complicated, so we'll just use an equation. So we're using equations. X plus y equals 200, then x equals 200 minus y. So we'll substitute this like with the first equation. 12x plus 17y equals 30,000. But right here, the x was 200 minus y. So this will be substituted like this. 200 minus y, and 7 plus 17y equals 3,000. Let's just write it out. Then it will be 2400 minus 12y plus 17y, and that equals 3,000. Once again, calculating it, 5y equals 3,000 minus 2400, and that equals 600. Dividing both sides with 5, y equals 120, like this. Kilograms don't forget the units, and y is 120 kilograms, and for x, so x plus y is 200, so it will be 80 kilograms, like this. This is question 8. When Arthur goes fishing, he drives 396 kilometers from his home in Ottawa to a lodge near Temagami. He travels at an average speed of 70 km per hour along the highway to Northway and then 50 km per hour on the narrow road from Northway to Temagami. The journey takes him 6 hours. So we find out the two equations and draw the graph. But it's just a bit confusing, these infos are just a bit long. Let's just draw a simple diagram for this. So Arthur departs from his home. This is Ottawa right here. And then this is North Bay right here. And destination is Temagami. Right here, it gave us few things. First, the whole distance from home to Temagami it was 393 kilometers. And then, from home to North Bay, he drives 70 kilometers per hour of speed. And from North Bay to Temagami, he drove a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Like this, it took 6 hours for the whole drive. And then, do you remember this DTS diagram? D, T, and S. D was T multiplied by S. T was S under D. And S was T under D. Like this. We'll use one out of these three. It gave us the speed and the time. So I'll put this Ohio to North Bay's time as an X, and North Bay to Temagami's time as an Y. And if we just write down the equation, X plus Y equals 6. And then it gave one more information that the whole distance is 393 kilometers. And then D equal TS will be used this time. So the time was the X, and then the speed was 7 kilometers per hour, that will be 70x. Plus again 50y, and that equals 393. Like this, we wrote down the equation right here, and now let's draw the graph. So change the form, y equals negative 6 plus negative x plus 6. Right here, here's a y-intercept, and the slope is negative 1. So it will be right here, and connecting these two. And the second graph, 50y equals 70x plus 393. Dividing both sides by 50, y equals negative 7 over 5x plus, it's about 7.86. This time, let's start with the y-intercept. So it's right here, 7.86. And the slope is negative 7 over 5, 5, and 7. Connecting these two, this will be the graph for this question. And then, so he drives 70 kilometers from here, the Ottawa, to North Bay until here. And from North Bay to Temagami, it took 7 hours in total, so he drive 50 kilometers per hour. And right here, it have took 6 hours, the whole drive. So this here, the point right here will be, that's 4, and this is 4.5, so just about, let's say 4.7. And then, he drive 4.7 hours from Ottawa to North Bay, and then after 6 minus 4.7, that equals 1.3. And then for the 1.3 hours from North Bay to Temagami, he drives with a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. This is question 9. Joanna is considering 2 job offers. Phoenix Fashions offers $1,500 per month plus 2.5% of commission. And Styles by Rebecca offers $1,250 per month plus 5.5% of commission. So first, we should create a linear system of writing equation for each salary. So then, right here we'll put this Y as in salary, and this sales as an X. Right here, let's just write down. Let's start with Phoenix Fashions. Y equals 1,500 plus 0.025x. And then let's do Styles by Rebecca. Y equals 1,250 plus 0.055x. And in case of B, it asks how much should Rebecca sell to have same salary for those two. So both same salary means same Y, so it means that 1,500 plus 0.25x, that equals 1,250 plus 0.055x. Because the salaries are same, we can just write it down like this. And then just writing this down, 1,500 minus 1,250, that equals 0.055x minus 0.025x. And so be 250 equals 0.03x. And then we should divide both sides with 0.03. And then I'll just calculate this for x equals 8333333, and it just goes on. So let's just say $8,330. So once she just tells about that, they'll have the same salaries. And question C asks which job should Joanna take. So if she can sell more than $8,300, she should definitely join Style Spy. And if it's under that, she should definitely consider Phoenix Fashions. This is question 10. We should create a situation you can present by a system of linear equations that has an order pair 10, 15 as a solution. So I'll just change the way that words in solution to solve this question. So I'll buy some fruits in the supermarket. I'll some apples, it's $3 per apple, and I'll write this in X. Or there's an orange, so it's $2 per orange, and I'll write this in Y. So I'll buy 25 of those in total, and I'll use $60 in total. So X plus Y, that equals 25, and 3x plus 2y equals 60. And then I'll just modify this a bit. X equals 25 minus y, and this x is 25 minus y. So just writing this out, it'll be 75 minus 3y plus 2y equals 60. And then 75 minus y, this is minus y, and 60 comes here, y goes here. And then 75 minus 60 equals y, so y equals 15. So, like this, we can solve this pretty simply. So right here, this x plus y equals 25. When the y is 15, x is 10. So, the 10, 15 is a solution for this equation. This is question 11. Right here, 6 cups of coffee and dozen muffins originally cost $15.35. The price of a cup of coffee is increased by 10%, and price of muffin is increased by 12%. The new cost of 6 cups of coffee and dozen muffins equals $70.06. So it asks to determine the new price of 1 cup of coffee and a dozen muffins. So I'll just explain one thing before doing this question. So let's say we receive $100 per week. Now we receive 10% more money, and then we will receive $110 like this. So $100 multiplied by 10, 110, and this will be 10. So our money is increased by $10, but we receive more than $10. So we'll receive $100 plus $10, which is $110. And maybe let's say this time it's increased by 20%. And then it'll be 100 and plus 100 multiplied by 0.2, or 20 over 100. So this will equal 120. It isn't $20. So like this, instead of writing like this, we can just write it a different way. So if 10% is increased, so because 10% just added, we can write it multiplied by 1.1. And if 20% is increased, we can just multiply by 1.2 instead of doing like that. So if 35% was increased, it'll be multiplied by 1.35 in multiplication. And like this, we can solve this like that, but let's say it's the decrease, not the increase. If it's 10% decrease, we can just minus 0.1 for a decimal, and that will be $90. So let's just say it's multiplied by 0.9. And when 20% is decreased, and then again, we receive $100, but instead of receiving 100, we can just receive 0.8 or 80% of that. And remembering this, now let's solve the question. So we should find the cost of coffee and the muffins. So coffee will be X, and muffin will be Y. So let's start with the first equation. The cost was 15.35, and that equals 6x plus 12y. And then, now let's say coffee was increased by 1.1. So then the new coffee will be multiplied by 1.1 because it increased 10%. Like this. muffins was increased by 20% in price, again it will be multiplied by 1.12. So like this, we can make a new equation using this info. So let's take its exact sale and multiply by 1.1x and add it there. 12, still 12, multiplied by 1.12y. And that equals $17.06. So let's just write it down. So this will be 6.6x plus 13.44y, and that equals $17.06. And then we have two equations right here. We should solve it using simultaneous equation, but this time instead of writing it down, we'll just use calculators to solve it. So right here is the calculator, and then we can just press menu like this, and we see this again. So we should go to equation from here, right here, press exe, and you can see 3 right here. So the first one, simultaneous, is just literally simultaneous equations, the one that we just used to solve. The polynomial is the one that solves for quadratic and cubic, and so we're not using it now. Let's start with simultaneous. So it asks us how much unknowns are there. So it's asking how many variables are there. Because we have 2, we'll click F1, which is 2, and then we should write it down. So the first one's x, second one's y, and the third one is a constant. X, y, and z, which is a constant. So let's write it down. The first one's 6x, so it will be 6 right here, and then press exe, and then for y it will be 12, and press exe, and again is 15.35, and press exe. And now write the second one, 6.6 exe, 13.44 again, exe, and then finally 17.06 exe. And then we should just press the solve button right there, which is currently F1. And if we press this, magic happens. So it just gave us the price of muffins and coffee. X is 1.1 and Y is 0.7291. Like this, we can just simply get those by using calculators. But because this is the original price, we should multiply 1.1 and 1.12 from here. So because it's increased by 10%, again we'll just multiply it. So the new cost is 1.1 multiplied by 1.1, and then this will be the x, and now let's do the y. So it used to be 0.7291, and that will multiply by 1.12, which is increased by 12%, and then these will be the new price. So we'll just calculate to solve it, and the new price for x is $1.21, and new price for y is $0.816592. And this time, for the last, we should find out the new price of 1 cup and 12 muffins. So 1.21 plus 0.816592 multiplied by 12, and that will be the answer. So it's 11.009104, and that equals 11.01. This is question 12. We'll go by 3 meters of denim fabric and 5 meters of cotton fabric. The total bill, excluding tax, was $22. And then Jared bought 6 meters of denim and 2 meters of cotton with the same store and the price of $20. So we should write the equation, draw the graph, and finally find out how much is 8 of denim and 5 meters cotton fabric. So I'll put denim as in y, x, and cotton as in y. So 3x plus 5y, that equals 22, that's for Willow. And Jared will be 6x plus 2y equals 28. This is for Jared. And then we got the equation. And now let's just draw the graph using calculators. So we should put the equation, but we should change to y equals form before that. 5y equals minus 3x plus 22. Dividing both sides by 5y equals negative 3/5 x plus 22 over 5. Second equation, 2y equals negative 6x plus 28. Y equals negative 3x plus 14. And now let's just write this out, starting with the first one. So y equals negative right here, and pressing 3 first, and then the fraction 5, and then x plus, so it's 22 first, fraction, and 5. And the second one is just negative 3x plus 14. And now let's draw it. So right here, we just drew it with the calculator, and pressing G solve, and pressing F5 again, the intersection. X is 4 and Y is 2. So we can find out the price for denim is $4 and price for cotton is $2. So right here, the final question, it asks how much is 8 meter of denim fabric and 5 meter cotton fabric. And then we should just calculate it. 8 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4i multiplied by 2, and that equals 32 plus 10, which is $42. This is question 13. The drama department of the school sold 679 tickets to the school play, $3,370 in total. Students paid 4 and non-student paid 7. You should write the equation, and it asks us how much of the non-student attended the play. So let's first write down the equation. I'll put students as an x, non-student as an y. Right here, there are a few information given to us. So they sold 679 tickets in total. X plus y equals 679. And again, they sold $3,370 in total, and $4 for students, $7 for non-students, 4x plus 7y, and that equals 3,370. And then, now let's draw the graphs using calculators. But before doing that, we should change it to y equals 4, y equals negative x plus 3,679, 7y equals 4x plus 3,370, dividing with the coefficient, the y equals negative 4 over 7x plus 3,370 over 7. Let's just write this down. And then, if I draw it, the intersection was x is 461 and y is 218. Like this, it asks us how much of a non-student attended, and the answer will be 218. This is question 14. The equations y equals 2, y equals 4x minus 2, y equals minus 2x plus 10 forms the sides and the vertices of a triangle. So we should graph of the triangle, answer the coordinates of vertices, and calculate the area of the triangle. So let's just draw this out. So the first one, y equals 2, it's just a straight line right here. Second was y equals 4x minus 2. Starting from negative 2, when x moves by 1, the y moves by 4. So random the rise. So moves by 1, moves by 4, so until here. And connecting these two, this will be the graph for the second one. And then there's one left. So y-intercept is 10, so it'll be right here. But instead of using slope this time, I'll use x-intercept solve because it's easier. 0 equals negative 2x plus 10. 2x equals 10. X equals 5. So you can just use x-intercept or slope based on what's easier. And then, so connecting these 2 points, this will be a graph. And then, for B, it asks you to calculate the area of the triangle. So the area of the triangle is base multiplied by height divided by 2. So base and height is always perpendicular, so I'll put this as in base, and this as in height. Always remember that base and height is perpendicular, like this. Right here, the height is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and the base is 1, 2, 3 blocks. So then the area will be 4 multiplied by 3 divided by 2, and that equals 6. Let's just say the unit centimeters and area, so it's squared. And because I just forgot to find out the vertices, I'll just do it right now. So let's just do it right now. So this one is 1, 2. This vertex is 4, 2. And finally, this vertex is 2, 6. Like this, we can find these out. This is question 15. A regular light bulb costs $0.65 to buy, plus $0.004 per hour for the electricity to make it work. A fluorescent light bulb costs $3.99 to buy, but it costs $0.001 per hour. So first we can make the equation like this. Cost is y and time is x. Let's start with the regular light bulb. Y equals 0.65 plus 0.004x. And the second one, fluorescent, y equals 3.99 plus 0.001x. Like this. In question B, we should draw the graphs in calculators. The x is from 1, 0 to 1000, and y is from 0 to 10. Because this display is just too small for graphic calculator, I'll use a program called Desmos instead. So this is Desmos. So I should just write the equation down right here to make it work. And then this is the graph of this question. So the regular light bulb is this blue one, and fluorescent light bulb is this purple one. When you look at this, as time goes, regular light bulb will be more expensive compared to fluorescent. 1,113 an hour, so fluorescent light bulb is cheaper. So question C is 1,113 an hour, and answer for D will be how much it costs for 1 year of constant use. So let's solve question D right here. 1 year, that equals 24 multiplied by 365 hours, and the time for 1 year equals 8,660 hours, 8,700, and let's start with regular verb. 0.65 plus 0.004x multiplied by 8760, and fluorescent y equals 3.999 plus 0.001x multiplied by 8760. And the first one equals 3569, and the second one is 1275. So because it asks the difference, it will be 35.69 minus 12.75, and that equals 22.94. This is question 17. Linear system is 3x minus y equals minus 11 equals 0, and x plus 2y plus 1 equals 0. And also we should find the point of intersection of these two graphs. And I'll change to y equals 4 integer graphs. 3x minus 11 equals 1, 2y equals minus x minus 1, y equals minus half x minus half, 4y equals minus 9x plus 19, y equals minus 9 over 4x plus 19 over 4. And like this, I wrote 3 of these equations. Question B was that, does this graph y equals minus 9 over 4x plus 15 over 19 over 9 passes the point of intersection of the graph of the question A? Then let's just draw all 3 in the Desmos. Like this. When we just drew it in Desmos, we can see that they all pass one point of intersection right here. Question B also passes the point of intersection right there. So that point is 3, negative 2. That point. 17 of A, B, they're both true. And now let's solve question C. So there are two equations, 3x minus y minus 11, and x plus 2y plus 1. And those equations will be multiplied by two constants C and D. And the solution for the equation is 0. So we should solve this thing with this equation. So first I'll multiply C and this x, D and this x, like this. But I won't write the x down, then it will be 3c plus d, that equals 9, because it will be 9x plus 4y minus 19, and last. And now, let's do c and this y, d and this 2y, so to make the 4 right there. So there will be minus c plus 2d, that equals 4. And then finally, let's take constant in the c, constant in the d. Then it will be negative 19, so negative 11c plus d, that equals negative 19. So from these three equations, we'll just choose 2 of those and solve them in simultaneous equation. Let's just choose these 2, and then I'll just write this again, 2d minus 4, that equals c. So c is 2d minus 4. So this is 2d minus 4, right? This c right here. Let's substitute it. then it will be negative 22D plus 44, negative 11 and negative 4. And that plus D equals negative 19. And then let's write this down. Negative 22 and 1, then will be negative 21 D equals, this goes over, that will be negative 19 minus 44. That equals negative 63. Then now we can see those D right here. D is 3. And then we should substitute the D right here as the first equation to find it out. So D is 3, this should be 6, so then C is 2. So then finally we should double check right here, changing this to 2 and 3 each. And then let's calculate this. So for the first one, 6x minus 2y minus 22 plus 3x plus 6y plus 3. That equals x with x, 9x, y with y, plus 4y, and constant with the constant, so it will be negative 19. And when we compare these two, it's perfectly same. So, answering question 7 like this. Question 18. In this question, we should find the point of intersection of these three graphs, y equals 2x minus 1, 4x minus y equals 7, and 6x plus y plus 17 equals 0. So we only need to change third and second one. 3y equals 4x minus 7, y equals 4 over 3x minus 7 over 3. And the third one, y equals minus 6x minus 17. And let's just draw this in the decimals. I'll just quickly draw it. Like this. After drawing 3 of those, we can see this point of intersection right here, which is minus 2 comma minus 5. So question 18 can be solved easily like this. This is the last question. Question 19. So until now, we only learned about linear expressions, but now here's quadratic equations. So because we can't solve this right now, we'll just use calculators to solve it. Anyway, let's start with the first one, A. So when we look at A, y equals 2x squared and y equals to minus 3x plus 5. They're the same because they both equal y. So we can write like this. 2x squares equal minus 3x plus 5. Since they're both, this is also y and this is also y, we can write it like this. And then, let's just send all of those into one side. Then it will be 2x squared plus 3x minus 5. And that equals 0. Like this, it just asks us to factorize it. But because we don't know how to do it, we'll just use calculator to do it. So calculator right here, going to equation, and this is polynomial because it's quadratic. And right here, it asks us to degree 2 or 3. Because it's quadratic, it has x squared, it looks like f1 for degree 2, like this. And a is a coefficient of x squared, so this will be 2 right here. And b is coefficient of this x, that's 3. And finally c is a constant, which is 5 right here, but we should write negative 5. And then, let's press solve here. It gives us these numbers. X is 1, or it can be negative 2.5. So let's write this in order pair. Then there is a possible 1 comma something, and negative 2.5 comma something. Right here we should find out the y. So when x is 1, let's put it here, then it will be 1 squared multiplied by 2, and that equals 2. And then, let's work on this one. When x is minus 2.5, we'll put it here, the 2x squared. Y equal to x squared, and we'll substitute x with negative 2.5, like this. And negative 2.5 squared, 25 squared is 625, so negative 2.5 squared is 6.25. And then multiplying 2 there, it will be 12.5. So, it's negative 2 comma 5, negative 2.5 comma 12.5. And this is b right here. Look at this one. So, root x equals x minus 1. And because there's root, we can just... So, because this is in roots, it's easier if we just square both sides. So also squaring this side and also squaring this side. And when we calculate this, this will be x, so root x. And also you should remember this. 2 multiplied by 2, that equals 4. 1 multiplied by 1, that equals 1. And 8 multiplied by 8, that equals a squared. And then, if there's one number inside the root, and that multiplied by the same number, and that's a 2. So this is how root works. Root 3 multiplied by root 3 is 3. Like this, root x multiplied by root x is x. And that equals x minus 1 squared. So I'll just write this down. It will x squared minus 2x plus 1. So this is just like this, x minus 1 and x minus 1. So it's just like 1 in the front, 1 in the back, 1 in the front, and 1 in the back. So when you do this, you'll get this. And then let's send it to one side. X squared minus 3x plus 1, and that equals 0. And we can solve this, so again, let's use a calculator. So degree is 2. So let's just write down 1, and negative 3, and then again 1. And then let's solve it. It will give us 2 of those x's, 2.618 and 0.3819. So they're more behind, but we'll just write down the first 4 of these. Let's write it down here. But you should notice, when you look at this picture, there's natural domain, and we don't need to look for that right now. It's just about functions. But look at this one. When there's root x, the domain of this x or domain of the x is always bigger or same with 0. So it can be root 0, root 1, root 1000, but it can't be root negative 1. And now let's look at this one, the fraction. 1 over 3, that's possible. So just mean eat one of those pizzas after dividing it by 3. So if this 0 over 3, this means eat none of them after dividing them with 3. But this still makes sense. But look at this one, 3 over 0. It means it eats 3 pieces of pizza while not dividing it. This is impossible. It's a magic if you do this. So this means that the denominator in the fraction can never be 0. So when we look at this one, 1 over x, x can't be 0. And finally, let's look at this one. It's just connection of this one, 1 over root x. So it can't be 0, and also it can't be negative, so root x can't be negative. It's same or bigger with 0. But it can't be 0, then it should be bigger than 0. That's how this works. We won't talk about this right now, but later when we're doing fraction, we'll talk about this more in detail. And y equals root x, let's continue this question, y equals x minus 1. And then, they're the same. So let's put x 2.618 in x, minus 1 there, and then 1.618. And that's also possible. We can put that in root, but it's just a bit too complicated for us to calculate it. And but when you put x 0.3819 in x, and when you minus 1 from that, that's impossible. It's negative. So when you come here, so this y is negative. But because root can't be negative, this is impossible. So there is only one y possible, 2.618. That 0.3819 is impossible. So in this equation, let's write down x minus 1, 2.618, and that's 1.618. So this is like this. So 0.3819 is impossible. You don't need to know about it, but it will be better if you just know it. If you liked the video, please press like and subscribe to the channel. Those likes and subscribes will be very helpful for the channel.